Over the past few years, HexClad cookware has become one of the most recognizable cookware brands on the internet. They've obviously spent a boatload of cash to do this, but good on them. It's obviously done them well. But all of that is about to change. Up until now, HexClad has been made with a PTFE chemical-based nonstick coating, which is a close cousin to a PFOA coating. All of these are a group of what are called forever chemicals. The chemicals within PTFE and PFOA are linked to a wide range of negative health outcomes in all types of animals, including humans. They're called forever chemicals because the bonds within the molecules can take over 1,000 years to start breaking down. So when these harsh toxic chemicals get into our environment, they stay there. They get into our waterways and they get absorbed by microbes that then get absorbed by different sorts of animals and then go up the food chain and they ended up on our plate. This is the simple explanation to why PTFE and all types of forever chemicals are being restricted in many places around the world, including the USA and Canada. This is also why HexClad is facing a serious class action lawsuit. HexClad, in many of its ads, has claimed that PTFE is completely non-toxic. I think they decided to claim this because of a technicality. And this is where things get pretty complex. I've made some links below to some excellent resources, but this is the simplified story. Back in the 80s, PFOA, basically Teflon, was investigated for poisoning environment and making people sick. Fast forward to the 2000s, and the companies that produced these nasty chemicals were found to be liable. Proving that the chemical was to blame, was absolutely 100% to blame, was a massive effort, took a huge amount of resources and a lot of money, and it was really the life effort of one man, and I'll put that link below. The industry that had been producing PFOA and like the Teflon style nonsticks quickly pivoted to a new chemical that they called Generation X, also known as PTFE. The industry that had been producing Teflon for decades and had been proven to have lied about its toxicity and that it had been poisoning people, they had now pivoted to this new chemical and went on a marketing blitz. So they went into the market directly at the same time that the news of the liability that they had for decades had been proven. They went on this marketing blitz to now all of a sudden say, hey, this new chemical, this Generation X chemical, we've replaced it with the nasty PFOA. That was really bad stuff. This new stuff, totally great. Let's go forward. As many people that watch the channel know, I've been selling cookware for over 30 years. I was right smack dab in the middle of this massive marketing push. I had heard of the information that had come out that what was there before was bad, but I was getting fed industry-based news that everything going forward was fine, and our industry was saved. Retailers, myself included, we ate up the information like it was ice cream on a hot summer's day. Soon, every customer that I dealt with had heard that there was a problem with the old nonstick, but the new nonstick was all good and fine, no problem. Yes, problem. There was zero, and I mean absolutely nothing, that proved that the new chemical that had been really, really quickly pivoted to, like immediately just kind of delivered to the marketplace as soon as the conviction had come down. This was now being rolled out en masse, massive amount of money being spent. There was no evidence that this new chemical was any different than the old chemical. All that they were telling us is that it was better. So why did this fly? Like, how could this fly? Because the system that was developed decades and decades ago was based on self-reporting. The companies that make the chemical and sell it into the marketplace have to do their own self-testing and then deliver that to the marketplace and prove that they are good or not good. So they had proved that they had changed the chemical enough from the PFOA to the PTFE, and let's just go for it. But really, nothing had really changed. And to be frank, nobody really cared. None of my customers cared. Everybody just kept wanting to consume nonstick cookware. So this is simply what I assume HexClad just went with. The industry had been saying that PTFE was non-toxic for years, so why would they say anything different? Let's just go with what the industry's saying. They're being sold a nonstick to coat their cookware by the industry. They're saying, hey, this is non-toxic, it's all good and fine, keep going. Great, let's just market that message. Without really understanding, hey, is there any other proof? Maybe we should really understand this better before we take this to market. Over the last 10 years, more and more research has come out that has not just being the research done, it's not just, oh, here's a concept, it's actually proven that the outcome of using the PTFEs is really similar to that of POFAs. And that is very complex, and some of the links that I put into in this video will help you understand that. But really, it's the idea of poisoning the environment. The environment is still being poisoned to the same degree. Is using the cookware better or worse? That is the question that the makers are always saying. You're using the cookware, this is now non-toxic to use. Is the manufacturing and the destruction at the end of its life any better? That is being proven to be no change. So that brings us to the present. The use of PTF-based non-sticks has become very, very difficult. So what does a company do? If you know you can't go forward with a PTFE type non-stick, what's your choice? In the marketplace, of all the types of non-sticks available, there's really been one type of non-stick that's had the promise of Teflon, and that is ceramic. Ceramic coatings have been around for a long time, like 20, 25, 30 years in mass use. And when they first hit the marketplace, this was going to be the win. This was going to be the thing that was going to replace Teflon, and there's going to be no problem, and everything was just going to be smooth sailing going forward. I jumped all over ceramic when it first came on the market. I tried tons of different brands and was really excited about ceramic being the win. We got them into our commercial kitchens, but unfortunately, pretty quickly, we came to realize there was a massive problem. And that problem was that they would last maybe a third or even less as long as a Teflon pan. Why? What was wrong? Ceramic in its kind of concept makes a ton of sense. You use non-organic, non-toxic materials to make the ceramic mixture that goes onto the pan. But the basically silicone-based non-stick, it does not like heat, right? So you start adhering to a pan, you do your best in its mixture to try to make it have some resiliency, but basically all of the ceramic non-stick cookware mixtures, once you start to heat and cool, they harden and then they start to become sticky. And so you basically take a good quality pan, put a non-stick coating on it with ceramic based, it works well for a short amount of time and quickly starts to degrade. And for decades, this has been the same problem. The only way that I've seen on the marketplace so far to get away from this is to have a full ceramic based pan, so that the entire pan is ceramic. And there's only a few makers that really do that sort of a pan, because most people want to make a really inexpensive based, aluminum based, even if it's aluminum stainless steel based pan, and just put a non-stick coating on it to be able to sell it at a profitable amount of money. So even with the broad industry-based understanding that ceramic pans wear out, HexClad has decided to go with a new ceramic coating. They say that their new cookware is a HexClad TerraBond patent technology, which in the world of cookware means absolutely nothing. There's lots of specific names for specific coatings as brands try to market that they've just made the next best thing, or they use like a large brand like Teflon. You know, you'll get a maker that will use Teflon as their non-stick because Teflon is a well-known brand, they use the well-known brand. But if you're trying to make something that's different, like a shell game, like, hey, somehow ours is different, they just use some made-up name. And that's what HexClad seems to be doing here. But could have HexClad cracked the code on ceramic technology? Sure, anything's possible. But are the chances of that really that high? No. Why? Why couldn't have they done it? Many very rich and powerful cookware companies have been trying to do this for a long time. Everybody knows that people shouldn't be using a chemical-based nonstick and that it creates all these problems, but consumers want the convenience, so they keep buying them. But things are starting to change. The industry is changing from regulation standpoint, so governments are starting to crack down. This is becoming an issue, so everybody wants a better solution. So companies have been trying for a long time to find this solution, and ceramic has been a good choice to go down that road, and many different versions have been made for a better ceramic coating, but none of them have worked. The basis of what it is and how it reacts with whatever it's applied to just doesn't work. So are the chances that HexClad has somehow cracked this code and in that just quietly just put a few different names on their website and not actually announce this to the world or created some sort of marketing around this from a company that is all about marketing? The chances that they've done this well is, in my opinion, from slim to zero. So where does this leave HexClad in 2025? They're obviously feeling the pressure, or why would you change the coating? They're moving to the only logical solution that will deliver the same results out of the box. As long as people don't know that there's a good, simple alternative and that the chemicals within these cookwares are toxic, they're going to continue to search for the most convenient pan to use, which makes sense. We all want convenience. I want convenience, but are we using what's right for us going forward? And why do I see the end of HexClad? There are two reasons for that. I will bet that the new HexClad's ceramic mixture is going to be a huge failure. If they had cracked the code on this, they would have done a lot more to have promoted something revolutionary, truly revolutionary, and industry changing. As I said, there's companies that have way bigger R&D budgets and are much, much, much larger than me trying to do this for a long time, and they have not been able to do this so far. Two, they tout their lifetime guarantee. This guarantee is said to cover your pan for a lifetime, but this does not cover regular wear and tear that most people don't know. HexClad is relatively still pretty new. Most people have only had this HexClad cookware for a couple of years, but give it a few more years, even this coming year, and this problem is going to start to amplify for HexClad. But by the time this actually becomes a massive issue, maybe HexClad would have cashed out and moved on to some other gimmicky sort of something. Time will tell. But I bet that time will be sooner than later. Any comments, any questions, please throw them below. Thanks.